Hello, and welcome to another segment of the It Works Man Show. I'm Rob Dawson, and in case you don't know, we do this call once a month to just give you a view into the It Works lifestyle as men and let you know you have the support from other men who are successful and still doing this. If your It Works distributor or your significant other is, and you're not in the man cave, reach out to one of us. We'll make sure we get you in there. So over 5,000 guys in there. Living a worse lifestyle, pushing for the same things that you're pushing for, to be a full-time dad, a full-time husband, full-time boyfriend, whatever, needs be. It works can provide that. Corey, how you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic, man. We are we just wrapped up halftime, going into the second half, man. Wrap this thing up this month, finish out strong. Got a little boxing metaphor, a little NCAA metaphor.
Right.
It's just game time, man. Round 3 and second half.
I love that. And tonight we have Michael Wade on the call. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Doing great, man. Thanks for inviting me onto the phone call tonight.
Hey, no problem, man. It's what we do here. So, there's going to be a mixture of all different types of people on the call. Some, their significant others, playing this out loud for them right now because they wouldn't have doubted in themselves. That was me, about 4 years ago. So I know where they're at right now. Other guys are on because they just need some inspiration from other men who have been doing this a little longer, and then you got the guys who are on who are just not sure, of how to maximize and utilize his business as a man. So I guess, the best way we could get started is to just have you tell your story of how It Works found you guys, because you never really find It Works, it finds you.
Yeah, it was actually about 3 years ago after our first daughter was born. My wife was a registered nurse. Taught growing up.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you had cut out for a minute.
Oh, okay. So about 3 years ago, director of operations for a healthcare company, and we're taught growing up that corporate America is good, and climbing up the corporate ladder is great. It's a great thing to put your all, put everything. And so that's what I was doing. I was literally every night spending overtime hours at the office. During the weekends, I would go to the office. And then my boss came to me and said, "Hey, Michael," at this point I was the director of operations. I was, for a healthcare company, reporting directly to the COO of the company. And he said, "I want you to," because I'd asked about, I kind of stumbled on this book I was reading, Six Sigma. I had no idea what it meant, so I went to him and talked to him. And he said, "You know what? You should, in fact, it's going to give you a big pay raise because stuff that Six Sigma people make and how we needed it for the company, and it would be great." So I started 8 months getting started.
Still cutting out a little bit there, Michael.
You hear me?
Yeah, you were still cutting out a little bit there.
Okay. So I was saying it took me about 8 months to get a certification, and right when I was almost finished, knowing that the average person, I would come out making in between $80,000 to $100,000. I was going to double my salary at that time, and I told my wife, who was a registered nurse, I said, "Honey, you can go ahead and put your 2 weeks in. I've just literally finished this up. I'm about to get that promotion that was promised to me." So she quit her job.
Wow. And
corporate America, after I went back in, everything, completed a project, saved millions of dollars for this company, they said, "You're going to give you a title raise and more responsibility, but no more pay." And I was crushed. It took me 3 weeks to tell my wife that she was going to have to go back to work after just having our first daughter. Well, at the same time, she was not content with her body. Guys, one thing I will tell you, she was looking in the mirror, and I had all honesty to tell her, "Honey, you're beautiful." But she was crying about her body. I said, "Honey, you're beautiful, even if you never get that back." That's the wrong thing to say. Because she looked at me and was like, "You know what? I'm about to get this back, and you're wrong. And it went from, like, sweet to, man, I've never seen that fire come out of her like that. So that kind of is how it started, and she started searching for other job opportunities. And I've been in network marketing in the past. I believe in the model. And I think first, men, if you're new to this business and you're new to this industry, you need to have your shoulders back a little bit, and you need to be confident, because I can confidently go out there and say that I believe in network marketing. It's not perfect, but it's better, and I think it's a great industry to be in. We are the center of companies. So, anyways, my wife goes out and she finds this wrap. Come home, has incredible results. And I came home from the office and was blown away, absolutely blown away. But she wanted to start selling it, and being business-minded, you would have thought that I was like, yes, let's do this. This is great because it works. I mean, the product works. I had used my past experiences with network marketing to go ahead and tell myself or tell my wife how her experience was going to be. So if you have previous network marketing experience, you got to throw that away. That's something I learned in this business, because you just got to toss it out. So that's really how we found it works, was she was searching, and from the beginning I was 100% support for her. You know, I had my job that I was doing. Anything I could do to come home while she grew this business for our family income, I did everything possible. I would come home at 4:00 to watch, our youngest daughter, or I would tell everybody I could about it. But I was telling them about her business in the beginning, and it was mainly about her. And then September 2013, I went to an event in Seattle, and that's really where my mindset changed. On the plane ride over there, I don't know if y'all guys know this, but you just don't. I was trying to wear a red polo shirt on the plane. Red polo. Guys, if y'all been to an event, you say, that dude's crazy. What? No. Mm-hmm. My first event, trying to wear, my wife broke down and cried. I was like, you are not going to wear this red polo shirt here. And I was like, fine, I'll wear your shirt. So I'm in Seattle, go in the bathroom of the airport, switch it, come out. I'm like, is it going to make you happy? Is this, going to make you happy? Within 5 minutes of checking in, the event hadn't even started. Just to get under her skin, I looked at her and said, this is boring. Here she was. Now, the guys, think about this. Here she was, a presidential diamond. She wasn't just, we had built this income, but it was her business. And this was something she did, almost like how, your job is your job and my job is my job, and I'm going to support you. I'm all for you. I want you to succeed all the way to the top, but I don't want to do it. That was kind of me. Even though I would talk to people about it and kind of support it because I thought the products were great, I just didn't want to sell it. I didn't want to be that person. Well, I can't tell you what exactly it was. Maybe it was the conference, maybe it was the people, but, some of it was a little bit of everything. The people I met, the testimonies I heard, the leadership I saw in this company. I saw something was different. And on that plane ride back home, I looked at my wife and I said, I want to get started. And it wasn't until January when Mark announced those bonuses that I went from diamond to double to triple to presidential from December through May. So I call it fire, guys. And that's one of the things in this business. You got to get excited. You can't just, if you're going to be in this business, you got to go all in. And you got to tell yourself, I believe in these products. I believe in this company. What else is stopping you? It's you. Everything else is the same. The compensation plan's the same. The product, are all the same. Everything the same. The only thing that's different is me. And so that's really kind of how It Works found us, and kind of our story rolled up into one. And I tell you what, we stay excited. And it's crazy to think, but, right now we're ambassador working on our 2.0 account. And people have asked me, you got in 3 years ago. Was it the right time? Did you just get in before? No, guys, it's not the right time. It's about what you do and the work you do. And I tell you what, when you figure out how you do this business, that recipe, you're going to be successful. It may take you a little bit of time to figure out, how to get things down. If you've never done this industry before, just give it a little bit of time. You will figure it out.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I agree. And I just, when you talked about the polo shirt, I just had to hang my head and shake it in shame, because that's all I wore to everything she wanted me to go to and drag me to. I had a red one. I had the red one with the navy blue horse, and I had the white one with the navy blue horse, and I would just wear the polo shirts, man, and I kind of stuck out like a sore thumb, and I didn't care. I was like, man, I'm not putting on a work shirt. I don't, these people are crazy. and I had a unique opportunity. This was at the old corporate office there before Mark got the new one. I got locked in the office with him, long story short, and I wanted to shake his hand and get out of there. And as I shook his hand, she took a moment and said, he takes the greens. He loves our products, but he thinks it's for women. He won't get on board. And Mark was smiling, and he stopped smiling. And before I could pull my hand away, he started squeezing my hand. Man, I can't tell you the last time I had somebody squeeze my hand that hard. And he looked me in my eyes. He said, you're not getting out of here until you get on board, and you're not leaving Florida until we get you. And I was just blown back. I'm still looking down at my hand like, can I have my hand back? And he said, you see that golf course you won, the other night when you came to the green carpet we had? I spent a few million cash on that, and that's a hobby. Now, as a man, that hit me hard, because I'm like, man, this guy's spending millions of dollars cash on a hobby? I got plenty of hobbies, And from there, we just been running ever since, man, and it's been a blessing. Corey, what do you think about, everything that Mike just talked about with his story?
It's funny, man, because I was at that event. And, I always tell people, make sure that you get to an event, because events do something really small but really big. And that really small thing is events change your state. And once your state gets altered or gets changed, change happens in a second, right? So if you listen to Michael's story, it went from, hey, I'm just here because we're here, to I went to this event, my state got changed, and everything about this business changed for me in a minute. Michael mentioned, it wasn't the business that changed. The business was still the same, but he changed. And once that happened, you guys can see the takeoff. The plane left the runway per se. So getting to events is like an amazing and an awesome thing. When we went to Seattle, that was, I think, my third event. I went to One Team on Mission, and I went to Atlanta earlier that year, but Seattle was crazy for me, man. So it's fun to hear that an event that changed my life for the better also helped to change someone else's life in the same fashion, and that is duplicated over and over and over again. There's somebody that left It Works U Dallas, this last weekend or last week, whenever it was, and their state's going to be changed as well.
Yeah, it's true. It's
man, absolutely. And I just look at Michael. The next thing I like to cover is let's get this elephant in the room out of here right now. This thing is for women, because several years back when I started, there were less men. There were definitely less men, but now it's a way of life for men as well. We have so many products that these guys can take and run with, from just the supplements, the energy drinks, and then for one thing, I remember Mark saying is, when I knew that this was a way to help women who felt self-conscious about themselves, I knew that was always going to bring in revenue, just helping women with their insecurity. So how is that feminine? You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's what's funny is I had a home health care company that I owned. We used to do staffing for nurses, homes, hospitals, assisted living. Mm-hmm. I had 50 nurses that worked for me. When I peaked out at this company. 49 were women and had one male nurse. Wow. So, first of all, you can get into business. In home health care, people didn't, come to me going, oh, you're in a woman's business. First of all, no, I worked in a company that provided services. Right. So, what I'm going to say about that, because I do have a lot to say about that. I'm going to try to condense it. What you see is on social media, and so that's your perception. But let me be honest about social media. 80% of social media is women,
Well,
20% men.
right.
So what you're seeing is 80% of what you're seeing comes from the women on social media, which is dominating social media. And the men, I mean, think about how many guys you know that aren't in this business, that are actually on social media, that are active and engaging, like to where they actually reach out and talk all the time. I bet you can name a handful. You can't name 50. There's no way. So when you think about this, and that kind of leads me into, you know, I kind of want to talk about what I do and the men role. Guys, are y'all all good with me talking a little bit about some of that, about, you know, how to work this business as a man? Because it kind of leads me a little bit into that. So, I mean, as a man in this business, there is plenty of things you can do. And one thing that I tell every distributor that comes in here that's a man, I say, I want you to imagine I have just a piece of chicken in my hand, and I'm a chef. And this chicken, you're sitting in front of me, and there's 6 dishes out in front of you, all fully cooked, all different chicken dishes. But I have a raw piece of chicken. As a chef, my job is to find a recipe to cook and make it taste good, and it's going to be my recipe. And it's going to be good. You can eat it. Well, the same goes with this business. When you're going to get in this business, you're going to hear from people like myself, these guys on the call, other guys that are going to end up being on this call, past, present. The ladies you're going to hear about how they run their business. That's their recipe. It doesn't mean that your recipe is going to be exactly the same. You gotta pick and choose from different people what works for you and what doesn't. What is your strength? Because honestly, if you're good at social media, be good at it. I have another analogy, like a tool belt. Imagine you're going to build a house. If you have a tool belt on, you can't be the master of all things. I'm going to give you a hammer and some nails. I may give you a saw. I may give you another tool, but I'm not going to give you everything. The same with this business. You need to come in this business, figure out the tool, the recipe that you're going to be, what you're going to do. Is it wrap parties? Guys can still do wrap parties if that's your thing. You can do wrap parties. Is it events? Are you going to go set up booths? If that's your thing, do it. Be good at it. Go to places. Go find gyms. Go find salons to talk to. If it's one-on-ones, there's a million things you're going to hear people do. I myself am more face-to-face, kind of your old-school style network marketing. That's just what I love. I get intrigued by it. Melody McFarlane calls it a belly-to-belly business. Mm-hmm. I'm good at establishing relationships, and I get to know people first because I like to hear keywords. And, yes, I will introduce them to It Works after a little while if they haven't asked me about it or talked to me about it. I like to hear keywords that people say, oh, you know, I've been stressed out. Even if I haven't even started talking to this person, I will mosey. If I heard that, my radar ears go off. I'll turn around and I'll go over, talk to this person in the middle of the store. So, and I start listening to those indicators. So if you take nothing from this call, I want you to think about, as you're hearing people talk about how they do their business, it's a recipe, and you got to find your recipe. And when you find it, you're going to be on the next call talking about what you did and how you did it. And so my wife and I, we just really focus on being personal, because corporate America has taught us that money doesn't keep people around. It doesn't. But relationships do. Relationships will keep people through the ups and the downs. And if you focus on those relationships and the products, and I had a guy ask me a little earlier, you know, how do you get distributors? Well, they got to enjoy the products. How are you going to sell a hamburger you don't like?
Right.
How are you going to sell a pizza for a pizza company you don't like? You have to like the products first. And when you get someone to like the product, and if you can ask them and say, listen, do you know 3 or 4 people that may be interested in this? If they say yes, that's A, referrals, or B, you can say, well, would you mind referring me, or would you like to make some money?
Right.
And that's how I run my business. It's face-to-face. It's personal relationships. And I believe truly in the products. When we signed up with this business, we put our name behind every one of these products that we're representing. And I can honestly say that as I go out to the people that I meet, that's a big deal, because if you mess up, and you mess up enough, people aren't going to trust you. So you need to come and you need to offer something that you could stand behind. The wraps, the greens, the defining gel, you name it, all the pills, like the supplements, the new you, I take it all. And I can put my name behind it, and I can be confident telling people that I believe that it's going to help them, and it's something they can use in their life that's going to be good for them.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We all put our name behind this. That's a very good point. Corey, you want to add to that?
So Mike was talking about, he likes to do a face-to-face business. And Rob, I think you like to do the same as well. And, I just want to give a little bit of a different perspective. I don't necessarily enjoy doing a face-to-face. I'm an introvert, right? Now, it doesn't mean these two other guys are wrong, and it doesn't mean that I'm right. But I just wanted to highlight that here are three successful guys that are working their business. Some of us are going to like to be belly-to-belly. Some of us are going to like to be behind a keyboard. But that doesn't stop you from having success. You can build an empire. All you have to do is be willing to continuously work for it. Take that one step forward each and every day. So a lot of people, they'll look at it and say, well, man, I get really nervous talking to people, or I don't know what to say. If your gift is social, then stay in your gift. If your gift is face-to-face, then stay in that gift. Don't feel obligated that, because one person is better at this than that you have to change your whole MO to copy that person because they're being successful. No, you can be successful the way that you are. You know what I mean? What do you think people did 50 years in this business before, social media was even invented, and people were successful? And what do you think people are going to do 50 years from today? They're still going to be able to have success. So stay in your lane, stay within your gifts, and just know that your gifts are good enough to get you to where you're looking to go.
That's exactly it. I tell everybody, find your recipe. What is your recipe? Find it.
Yep.
Right. Absolutely. And, one thing, I give advice to some of our new guys starting out. They just they're like, Rob, how can I help my wife? I'm usually out a lot during the day or whatever. Take some bliss cards with you. And the advice I give them, play dumb. Hand the woman the card, say, excuse me, ma'am. I have to hand these out for my wife so I don't have to sleep on the couch tonight. Could you please take a look at it? Text or call her. And man, that really gets them started. They really enjoy it because none of us had ever had a woman say, no, I'll sleep on the couch tonight. I don't care. No, they all laugh and say, honey, we don't want you to sleep on the couch. Give me that card. Oh, I might be interested in calling her too. So it's psychology. Make it easy, make it fun. Don't make it too hard or too frustrating. You like these guys say, you got to work in your strengths. Michael, let's move on to the next phase of things. Just a day-to-day lifestyle. How can a man, the best way to get started? How do you tell a guy to get started in just his day-to-day lifestyle?
Well, it's day-to-day life. Everyone's lifestyle obviously is going to be a little different. And mine at this point as an ambassador, I have a little bit more freedom of time. But for those that are distributors or looking to become a distributor, don't let time stop you, because some of the busiest people meet the most people. The people that are in the offices, if you're out in the bank, if you really start sitting there thinking about how many people you brush by every single day, you have just as much of an opportunity as everybody else. And that's kind of how, like I was saying, the way we build our business. If I'm in Kroger, I meet somebody, I talk to them, I get to know them, I tell them about the business. I tell people at the banks, I tell people pretty much wherever I go. It doesn't really matter. And as I'm talking, I tell them, hey, we're in 18, different countries. Do you know of anybody in, let's say, Australia? And could you give me a referral? Right. We get to talking about stuff and they get excited. I would say as a distributor, you need to get excited about it, and you need to have that determination that you're going to make it to Ruby. You're going to figure out how to get to Ruby, because Ruby is the building block for this company. Yep. And that has to be a goal so strong that that you are going to do it, and you're going to keep figuring out ways. Like if one way doesn't work, like you were saying, that there's different ways, you're going to try a different way, and you're going to perfect it, and you're going to find how to get to Ruby. And once you do, you're going to teach your team to get to Ruby. Because that 5 people, 2 rubies is emerald, 3 is diamond. You want to know how to get to ambassador? You start by learning how to get yourself to a ruby. And you learn how to teach people to get to ruby. It's that simple. We don't overcomplicate it. People of every single type of education level can do this. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to learn this business. We keep it simple and duplicatable.
Right. Absolutely. Corey, from a introverted standpoint, what's the best advice you can give for a guy who may have to do it the opposite way and may not go belly to belly as far as building relationships on social media?
Well, social media is like a window, right? It's like window shopping. So here's a bunch of stores in a shopping complex. You can walk through them. You can look in the window, see what's in the store, and decide if you want to go into the store or not. So one of the tips that I can give you is, basically those signs that are in the window, whether it's a sale, whether it's a new fall line, whether it's, a promotion, whatever it is, that is doing the advertising and the talking for you. That's the mouthpiece. People walk into the store, they're already coming into that store because they've seen that mouthpiece in action. So instead of me having to introduce myself and talk to people, my social serves as that mouthpiece, right? Now, you're going to have to talk to people at some point in time, right? Like, you can't run a business and, never talk to anybody. But what you put up, what you post, how you illustrate your character, your personality, the things that you're into, that's serving as that mouthpiece. So someone will come to my page and see the type of pictures I'm posting, the quotes I'm posting, just different things like that. And they'll be able to illustrate in their mind who Corey is before they even hear me talk. You can literally make friends with somebody on the internet and never meet them in person. And they can be your best friend in the whole wide world. And that's that storefront that's doing that talking and that not necessarily selling, but doing that talking and being that mouthpiece for you. Just know that can help to kind of break that ice, because what happens is those people that walk into the store, they're interested. What happens is when people contact you about the product, they're interested. So that first step has already been broken. Like, by the time they come to you, you're already dancing with them. You don't even have to walk on the dance floor. You're already dancing when they start asking you.
Right. That's true. And, one thing I like to do, I have a little bit of Michael's methods with me, and I use a little bit of Corey's methods. I use a basketball analogy. I set my wife up for the slam dunk. So, I see a girl post about something, these stretch marks are driving me crazy or whatever. I'm in the inbox. I'm messaging her, hey, sweetheart, how you doing? My lady has this awesome product, I think would help you out. And they're all ears. Tell me more. What could help me out? Because I've tried everything. Well, you haven't tried this. And I just go for trying to secure, well, here's her number. Could I get your number as well to give her so you guys can text each other and set up a good time? Bam, boom. I threw the ball up in the air, and she dunks it. So fellas, you don't have to do everything yourself. If you're working this business with a significant other in range, you can include them as well. Set her up for the slam dunk. And, you're not spending a whole bunch of time being nervous or trying to talk about things you feel you don't know. Just work within your strengths, like Michael said. Now, Michael, one last thing I wanted to just cover is, I don't know about you guys, but, there was a lot of naysayers. There were people who, we call them critics with no credentials, so to speak. Oh, man, that's not going to work. Or, they cast their fears on you because they're afraid of what they may fail at. So how important was it not to listen to people you didn't want to trade paychecks with?
Oh, man. When someone says that to you, it plants a seed. And I don't care if you're the strongest person in the world, you're at least going to consider what someone says for a second. When I made the decision to close down the family company that had been around since 1965, that home health care company, one of the RNs in the office that worked in my office looked at me and said, that's just a fad, and you'll be done next year. Well, that was 2 years ago. And since that time, we've actually increased thousands and thousands and thousands a month. It's just crazy. The thing you have to realize is that I don't think there's been a better time when you think about Facebook was really started 2004, 2005. So you have the social media capabilities, the ability from your phone to run a global business. Now, in all the other businesses you're ever going to do, try to anything you want to do from your home, not network marketing. Let's say you want to just start making your own candles or something and selling them from your home. Everything in business you're going to have to do, you're going to have to wear multiple hats. You got to buy the product, put it together, ship it out, build it, everything. When you join this business, all you have to do is one thing, and that's sell the products and stay focused on your team. And so it's very narrow for the skill level you have to develop, and you can become very good at it. So you have the opportunity, I think, is everything's coming together. I mean, technology is pushing out jobs faster than we can replace them. This business, we are the center. People, us as distributors, we are the center of this business, this company, and Mark would have already done advertising if he wanted to go to that route. And I'm gonna be honest, if he even tried that route at this point, the company would collapse because no one would be selling the products or buying it, because you'd have. Think about the negative impact of one or two people that can have on a company. Imagine 100,000 people saying bad things about a company now. You see what I'm saying? We're the center of this company, and we're the voice of this company, and it's gonna be a global company. It's gonna be a household product. These products are just simply amazing, and it was to the point that I let go. Shut down my other company and went full-time into this. And so you cannot listen to someone that says anything is or isn't going to work, because you know what? The same winds of economy is going to affect everybody. But those same winds, if you adjust your sales, as Jim Rohn says, you can adjust your sales. Maybe this is that part-time second income that you need to get you by for right now. And when the housing market collapses, another thing collapses, you're going to have that second income, or maybe you lose your job because you can't control every day that your company may or may not shut down or your boss may not fire you. This may be that second thing that you need to have a little bit of a crutch to say, you know what, I got this. And you're going to make a lot of money when you finally decide that you're going to start going all in on it, because when you can build your part-time income to match your full-time income and go over, what a story. I mean, imagine going to somebody, hey, can I tell you how I make more in my part-time job than my full-time job? Who wouldn't listen to that opportunity? I don't know anybody that would, right?
You're right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I'm gonna have Corey add to that. We now live in a neighborhood of nothing but lawyers and doctors are our neighbors. And the one gentleman stopped me the one time as he was rushing with his briefcase to work. He said, "I just don't understand it. You come outside in sweatpants, put your son on the bus, you go back in the house." He was like, "Only way I can seem to get it through my brain is that you own your own time. You're not rushing for anyone. No one's waiting on you. You seem to just own your own time. It's amazing." He was just flabbergasted. He couldn't even, it just didn't compute with what he was probably taught all his life. You know what I'm saying? So, it just, and I had to stop and say, wow, he's right. Corey?
The story never gets old, man. As far as what Michael was saying, I just want to kind of touch back on that a little bit. You got to be careful, and you say this a bunch as well, Rob. You got to be careful who you take advice from. You know what I mean? I'll be married for 2 years in June, in a couple months, right? And when I was making my decision to get married, and when I was seeking out advice and information for it, I didn't ask my single friends. You know, like I went to my grandparents who've been married longer than I've been alive. You know, I went to someone who I perceive as an expert in that field. When I left my job at Verizon, when I retired from Verizon a little over a year ago, my boss, who's a really good friend of mine, I mean, she's like my godmother, she looked me in the face and said, "You won't be doing this very long. This is just a fad." And then like a few moments later, she says, "Can you sign me up for that business?" You know, like if I had listened to what she had said, would I have made that jump? You know, would I have, you know, went presidential the next month? You know, so you have to be very careful who you listen to. When you're trying to do something extraordinary, ordinary people can't understand or won't understand or can't compute what you're trying to do. And it's okay not to listen to them. You know, it's okay to wall yourself in and listen to people that are successful. You know, as soon as Michael started talking about the wins on the sale, I said, he's talking about Jim Rome. You know, so we have isolated ourselves and listened to that 1 hour, you know, DVD or audio thing. You know,
I paid for a whole training series of with Joel Dunn. I went through it with Chad Caneller, like 3 months of training. So
it's good.
You know, you
gotta.
Yeah, in this business, personal development is huge because, you know, I love what he says. Success is not what you obtain; it's the person you become. To you know, and then by becoming that person, you can obtain what you're looking for.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. It's great stuff. You know, so you can't expect to go to Uncle Bobby and ask Uncle Bobby to take a look at this business. And if Uncle Bobby says that business looks silly and you're just going to throw it up in the air and forget about it. Like, you know, if I had not done this business, how would my life be different right now? You know, like, imagine that, guys. And if you're just, like, before the call started, there was a couple guys that had just been in a month, just been in 2 weeks. You know, this business that you got yourself into, it can be something humongous. You know, I didn't know jack squat about this when I started. Okay, I didn't need to know anything about it. You know what I mean? I went Ruby and didn't know what a Ruby was. You know what I mean? Like, I just followed what I was told and ended up getting to Ruby. But what I've learned in my 3 years or so since I've been doing this has been everything. This has been life changing. You know, like, I'm debt free. You know, like I was able to purchase a home. I was able to own my own time. I was able to, you know, live my life and be the main character and not just like, you know, watching someone else live my life fully, watching someone else lead my life. You know, that is what this opportunity is. Yes, it is making money, right? But nobody on this call, none of the three guys on this call, we never talked about how much money we made. We never talked about, oh, okay, you know, at this rank is this average earning. You heard the themes of owning your own time, of being happy, of just having control of yourself. And that's important, man. That's what we do it for. You know, the money comes, and the money's great. Let's not get it twisted. The money's good. But there's nothing more desirable and empowering than owning your own time. You know, like, imagine how you feel when you walk into work. And you have to ask another person, another man, another woman, or whatever it is. You have to ask someone else, can I have off so that way I can go to, you know, my son's baseball game or my daughter's softball game. That's not living, man. That's not living. You're not in control of your own self. You know, like, you're watching the movie play out of your life, but you're not even the main character. You know, so I just want to leave you guys with that.
I ask every person that comes in this business, I said, you know, what rank do you want to get to? Because that for people is the first goal, is a rank of at least diamond or double. And I said, okay, well, the rank is great because it's a title. The money is, you need to figure out what you're going to do with that money, because that's your reason. Because if diamond or double is your goal, that's not really your goal. That's a status. Your goal is to make $6,000 a month so you can pay off that house, so you can, you know, retire from your job and rewire into this business, earning more money and having a higher income, so you can, you know, open up a golf course like maybe Mark wants. You know, you got to figure out what you're going to do, and those are the reasons, and those reasons are what drive you to this business, because you're going to have a passion and you're going to have that drive to get to those results and those goals.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, we have well over 100 people on this call, and you know, the thing I'd like to ask you all before we close out is, you know, who owns your time? As my great friend Rusty Lackey always says, who owns your time? Who has the keys to your brain? And let me ask you this. I was talking to someone the other day, and I asked them, I said, what's the wealthiest place on earth? They said, I don't know, California or maybe Dubai. Yeah, Dubai. I said, no, it's the graveyard, because so many people had talents and gifts that could have changed the world, and they took it to the grave because of what Uncle Bobby told you, like Corey just said, or because of what their boss told them as they were thinking about it, like Michael just told you. Stop listening to other people. They're not psychic. They don't know your future. They don't know what gifts you have, and they surely aren't worried about you being there for your family. So don't take your dreams to the graveyard. That's selfish. Use your gifts to change the world. It works as just a vehicle that can get you there. So everybody think about that. And fellas, I thank y'all for being on the call tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Good night, everyone.